Hi, Kara from Health, Home, and Happiness here today, along with little Diddy, our little cat. She's not a huge fan of being held. But anyways, I needed to make cat food today, so I thought I would show you how I make her raw cat food and talk a little bit about our carnivore cat. Her name is Little Diddy. We got her last summer. She was about a year old last summer. She was taken from some hoarding situation. We just got her from the animal shelter. With Diddy, when we got her, I saw a ton of benefits when we switched her to raw food. She was super skinny when we got her, and she had the shelter said that she had an infection or something in her third eyelid, and so her eye was always half covered. And within probably a month of switching to raw cat food, so we just took the bag of food that the shelter had given us and then slowly added more raw food and less of the kibble or whatever it is for cats to her bowl. And so we switched her over in the process of 10 days, and she did great. She gained some weight, but I still think she's a really healthy weight. She's not fat, and we just let her eat as much as she wants. So if she eats a lot, we will give her some more. We really only feed her once a day, and it's because she's an indoor-outdoor cat, and so I want her to come in at night. Well, Hannah wants her to come in at night. She's actually Hannah's cat, my oldest child's. And so we feed her at the same time every night, and so she's kind of been trained to come in at that time. So we feed her, and she's locked in the house at night. She seems to be doing great. She goes and hunts. Sometimes she eats what she hunts for, and sometimes she doesn't, but she loves to hunt outside. We call her our mighty hunter. Thankfully, she mostly sticks to the rodents that are around here, because we have this used to be farmland, like most of the suburbs have been. So we used to have big fields back there, and so as it's being developed, the rodents, like the field mice, are displaced and they end up in our yards. And so she gets those, which is fantastic. When feeding, I did a bunch of research on feeding cats raw cat food a few years ago. And though I'm not particularly a cat fan, if we're going to have a cat, we're going to feed it a species appropriate diet. So if you look on my website, and then I'll leave a link below, you'll see a chicken and salmon based raw kitten and cat food. So this is chicken and salmon, and I'll link down below to the recipe. It's 50 grams of chicken liver, 50 grams of kidney, 2 cups of water or more as needed, 1 whole egg, 100 grams of chicken heart, 700 grams of bone-in skin-on chicken wings, 100 grams of raw salmon with the bones and the skin, 1 teaspoon of taurine, just because we're not sure how much taurine is in the frozen hearts. So if you're the number one thing to watch for when you're making your own cat food is taurine, because if the cats don't get enough taurine, I think it's their hearts which makes sense since it's found in hearts. If cats don't get enough taurine, then their hearts, they have heart attacks and stuff. And so that was a big issue when the cat food companies started getting cheap and they stopped putting enough taurine in, and then tons of cats are dying of heart attacks. And so now it's now they know that they need to have taurine in their food. So that's the only supplement I put for the cat, just because I'm not sure how much is in my chicken hearts. So when we're feeding a species appropriate diet to the cat, the idea is to get it as close to what they would eat in the wild as possible. So that means small animals. And so when possible, I get as many, I choose chicken hearts if I can find them instead of beef heart. I choose chicken if I could get quail or something that would be more species appropriate. I want to raise quail, but not necessarily for the cat, more for eggs, but I haven't done that yet. But when I do, I will feed that to the cat. When we went fishing, we caught fish and we ate the fish, but I saved all the organs inside of the fish, and I added that instead of the kidney and the heart and liver that we're adding today that I got from the grocery store. Another thing I think is interesting is this cat is thriving on an all-meat diet, all-meat raw diet. You might be concerned about the bacteria and stuff that's in, because I don't even get expensive free range chicken for the cat. I just get her stuff from Costco. And you don't need to worry about that because her stomach acid is so, the pH of her stomach acid is really low. Cats have super low stomach or pH of their stomach acid. And that's why we switch them over gradually, because if they're eating kibble, they might not like they might have been conditioned to have a higher, like a more neutral stomach acid. So we switch them over gradually, their stomach acid goes down, and she does fantastic. The only issue I have with her is when she's catching rabbits, like how that little cat can catch rabbits, I don't know. But when she catches rabbits, sometimes she gets worms, so I do give her a dewormer. If I notice she's eating like twice as much or more food than normal, I'll give her a dewormer, which is usually only in the summer months. The other thing that's interesting is that she does like catnip. And so I wonder, like, there's a lot of plants that are toxic to cats, and she seems to know that. Like, I grow lilies and stuff, and she leaves them all alone. I feel like it's kind of like a chicken and the egg thing, like which came first, but she didn't hunt much when she first got here, and I don't know if that's just her adjusting to our house or what, but when she was on all raw, she became like this super mighty huntress. She's like the best little hunting cat, and she's hunting grasshoppers, and she's hunting, she hunts everything, like moving leaves, grasshoppers, everything else. And she's really good at it. Like that she can bring, we actually had to take our cat door out of our house because she brought in a whole rabbit twice that was still alive. I feel like because she's on a species appropriate diet, she's become like just really how a cat should be, which is very, like she just kind of slinks through the house. Like she's just, we call her our mighty hunter. Even though her name is Little Ditty, it's after the John Mellencamp song, like Little Ditty about Jack and Diane. She was a lot smaller when we got her. She was pretty skinny, and she's filled out a little bit now, but she's still pretty small. So I'm going to show you how I make our cat food. It's super easy. I do use a Vitamix because it's high powered. And this is like what we use our Vitamix for the most part. It's funny because when my toddler hears the Vitamix going, even if it's Hannah making a smoothie, she's like, oh, we're making cat food. And she'll like bring her little toy blender over to her play kitchen and pretend making cat food. And I think it's the funniest thing. I'm going to show you how I measure with the scale here, just to give you an idea of what these measurements are. But I just kind of eyeball the ingredients and the amounts normally when I'm making it. And then you'll see I just pour it into old cottage cheese containers or whatever containers, and I freeze most of it. And we take out one of those containers at a time and feed her out of that. I don't remember how long it lasts. I think it lasts I think she goes through one of the like 16-ounce cottage cheese containers about once a week. Probably depends on how much she's hunting. I know she ate more this winter because she was inside and everything was frozen. So I'm going to show you how I make it now. So the first thing that I put in is I just put it in order of how much I need it blended, like and how difficult it is to blend. And so I put the egg in first. It's whole with the shell. Because I find if I put that in last, it kind of floats on the top. And next we're going to do 700 grams of bone-in, skin-on chicken wings. We just tear the scale, make sure it's at grams. So one wing is 59 grams, so that's a good estimate for you. All right, let's count as we're putting them back in. So this is 700 grams. Yep, it's 14. So if you're following along and you don't have a scale, you can kind of estimate like that. 100 grams of raw salmon that's 140, so we'll take a little bit off. And if you're doing this out of like a big salmon, what I like to do, and you'll see it with my chicken hearts, is I just kind of clump them into the right portions and freeze them, like flash freeze them on a baking tray. And then I pop it off and I put them in a Ziploc bag. So yeah, this is 100 grams of salmon. So kidney is really hard to cut when it's frozen, so this is definitely one that I'll cut into pieces and then freeze it. This is beef kidney. It would be better if I could get a smaller animal's kidney, but it is what it is. 50 grams of kidney, which is actually pretty small. Yep, that's 50. 49. It's perfect. 100 grams of chicken heart. That is 100 exactly. And then we have liver. We need how much liver? Liver is another thing you want to be careful of. They can get, I think it's vitamin A toxicity. So when they get animals in the wild, they're not going to have, like, they're never going to catch a huge beef to get like this whole beef liver. So I think that's the only thing you want to make sure you don't get too much. And I think because like liver's so nutrient dense, they're sort of programmed to really like liver. And so if you offer them all liver, they will eat all liver, but then they can get vitamin A toxicity. Possibly, I don't know. That's just what I've seen in my research. 43, that's good enough for the cat. And then what I like to do is, on my recipe, I said 2 cups of water. You need to add water or else you're gonna have a hard time with your blending. But I like to add it just to about halfway up where it goes. I like to add it to just about halfway up where like it's this full with the meat. And so I just add it to the water to there. And find that helps it blend. And then you're gonna wanna pulse. If you have a Vitamix, I think this will kill the motor on a regular blender, so that's the only thing I'd be careful of. Maybe you could like hand chop it up or get a meat grinder, but the Vitamix does fantastic. It does overheat sometimes and I have to let it cool down and then I can finish it, but if I fill it up halfway with water, it does well. Yeah, that's 2 cups, so that's right. And taurine, this is our supplement. I'm just gonna blend that in. 1 teaspoon taurine. So super easy, right? And then, let's see how here's my spoon. There. So I'll just put the lid on that and put, I think it's usually 2 of them for the freezer and 1 for the fridge. But it's easy, and honestly, it's super cheap because you can see how little of the organs we end up using.